Good afternoon, everybody. It's Wednesday, July 9, 2025, and I hope everybody's doing well today. I wake up every day, and it doesn't matter when, but they're burning my grass again with chemicals and cut, sliced the condensation hose to the mini split for the second time. And it's non-stop. They also scratch the propane tanks, peeled paint off of stones that I have had painted, damage, just damage everything. It's just really off the charts. And then they go into the cat's building or remotely and they slice up their bedding, hand crafted blankets, and the woman's no longer around, designed these blankets for me in perfect condition when I moved from New Jersey, when I had all those cats in New Jersey living in the same house. Once feral cats, nobody ever bothered a blanket. Move here to rural Kentucky, they go underneath the pillowcases because I put pillowcases over some of their very cushy beds so that I don't have to wash the beds and pull cat hair after. It's much easier when there's a pillowcase over it. They have literally gone under the pillowcase, sliced the bedding, and ripped out the cushions of all of them. And I will eventually perform one video of the inside of the cat's building. It's a lot of work. I've got kittens in there now, but I want everybody to see what they did to this building, this brand new custom made building, custom made for the cats when I moved here to Jackson County, Kentucky. Yeah, we'll give a shout out to the local sheriff, Daniel Isaacs. He's doing a great job keeping the neighborhood safe from predators. But anyway, also, I remembered something. The last time Tyler Allen was here, the last time I actually saw him, he brought his father here because his father was supposed to do one of the repairs to the underpinning because his weed eater guy just tore it up in back of my house. But meanwhile, 2 months later, it hasn't been done yet. But he brought his father here. Why? I have no idea. But I mentioned to him that he still has not cut down the county road beyond my mailbox on the border of my neighbor's house and my property where there is a fence line. He has never cut it. So he was driving down there to allegedly cut it. He never did cut it. I'll be doing a video on that too when I send it to the Attorney General. But no, he's never cut down there, but I guarantee what he was doing. He was probably negotiating, picking up a check or money or negotiating something with my neighbor, the Perkys, John and Mary Perky, or the Scarlett family, because that's what they've done. This has been historic, where both neighbors have threatened workers, co-opted Noble Landworks a few years ago to literally destroy my property and not clean it across the street. And I have it recorded. Her telling my workers, if you continue to clean her property, you'll be part of our lawsuit. So that's been the agenda all along. Excuse me. I suddenly have a tickle. The agenda is to make it appear as if I don't care for my property, when I have put hundreds of thousands of dollars into this property. And I don't care, John and Mary Perky, you losers that tore down my gate, co-opting, running into the county to co-op with the county lawyer who's another criminal. And yeah, you are a criminal. You belong on the Brady list. But what I'm learning here in Kentucky is it's not just in my rural community. The Kentucky State Troopers are a mess. If you saw my video, or if you viewed the civil rights lawyer, and now everybody across the internet, all the cops channels are bringing up the Kentucky State Police, who were once revered because they always looked so good, they always responded appropriately, but now they've got somebody heading that who allows psychopaths to pummel innocent people lie on the witness stand, perjure themselves, and think it's okay. It's not okay. And then, of course, we've got down in Lecter County a sheriff who unalived, who totally deleted on camera in his own chambers a Judge Steins, Mickey Steins. And then he has the audacity, his lawyer has the audacity to say, you know, we didn't do it. Trying to make some kind of a deal like he didn't do it. The guy belongs in prison. And everybody that rallies around any corrupt sheriff, you've got some heavy duty karma coming to you guys. And as far as the corrupt sheriff, I think I mentioned to you, I'll read it again. Let me just grab it over here. You want to know if your sheriff is corrupt? Ask him these questions. Ask him what to say when contacting a sheriff. Ask these questions. Are you going to uphold your oath and defend we the people? Have you read the sheriff's handbook? Are you aware that your duty to protect us from intrusive government, and that would go from government programs, including the cops program, citizens on patrol, etc. Are you aware that you can form a grand jury and that you have the authority to arrest the governor or any public servant that is violating their oath of office? You know, like he could actually arrest the county lawyer for falsifying sheriff incident reports. Yes, he can do that. And also taking down public FOIA requests. He can actually arrest the county lawyer for doing things like that. But he wouldn't do it. And he's a weenie boy. Are you aware that the only lawful authority exists after the passage through legislation? There's no mandate or executive order that has ever to this day been voted on and enacted by the state legislator. So even if it has, we the people can rely on the Supreme Court rulings such as Marbury versus Madison in 1803. Any law repugnant to the Constitution is no law. It has no force of law and can be ignored. That is what to say when contacting a sheriff. Ask him, him or her, are you going to uphold your oath and defend we the people? Have you read the sheriff's handbook? Are you aware that it's your duty to protect us from intrusive government? And that goes for anybody marked as a non-investigative subject. Anybody with any kind of handling code next to the name. Anybody who is falsifying an incident report like the sheriff's department here. And I'm not saying that it's the actual sheriff that's falsifying the reports, because I know for a fact that the county lawyer enjoys perpetrating crimes against women. You know, he's one of those gay boys that Kay Griggs talks about, one of those corrupt little weenie boys. And I have nothing about gay people. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. It's none of my damn business. But when you start harassing innocent people for profit, if you've got an agenda with targeting women because you're a little loser boy, I've got a problem with that. And I don't care if you've got a badge, if you've got a law degree, a medical, it makes no difference to me. If you're amoral, you're amoral. You could have 10 PhDs, makes no difference to me. So anyway, thank you, subscriber, who sends me this email. And it's entitled Kay Griggs and the Pastor Rick Strawcutter, Targeted Individuals. Now, I have the 7-hour Kay Griggs interview with Pastor Rick Strawcutter on my channel. Kay Griggs is the former military wife who was married to, I think his name was George Griggs, high up there on the Marine, who was always in a drunken stupor, who kept a diary, and was actually hired by the military to delete innocent people that they didn't like. Yes. So and I will attest to the fact that I've only listened to approximately 3, maybe 4 hours of of the interview. I've listened to the first hour multiple times, and I just don't have the time for the 7 hours. And just like this individual, he had to listen to it again to really grasp some of what she was saying. And at some point, I will listen to it. So, but it's very important for those of you who have the time. I do recommend it. At least the minimum, the first hour of this video is phenomenal. It's like she's just amazing, and that's why I chose this beautiful mini it's a one of a kind original by Lindsay's Art Angels, and it's entitled The Goddess, and this is dated August 16, 2024. It's a mixed medium piece of art, original. Hi Lorraine, I wanted to touch base with you about Kay Griggs, her interview and her interviewer. I think you will find this very interesting, and your viewers may too. If you decide to read this on the video, please do not use my name, so I will not use your name. I saw Kay's interview many, many years ago, and it always stuck with me. I think I watched it in the mid-2000s, but I can't recall exactly when. Kay was interviewed by a man named Pastor Rick Strawcutter. I knew this at the time, but didn't do any digging on him back then. After seeing your recent posts about Kay, I decided to dig deeper into Pastor Rick and to Kay. I wanted to know if they're still alive, and if so, what are they doing now? So here's what I found. Pastor Rick had a large church in Adrian, Michigan, not too far from where I lived near Ann Arbor, but I spent a lot of time in Adrian. It doesn't seem to be in existence anymore, but I will cover this later. He had a small pirate radio station with broadcast conspiracy. Which broadcast conspiracy subject matter? Not conspiracy theory. It was conspiracy fact. He was a champion of free speech. However, according to the website I just looked at, he did have some extreme views about certain segments of the population, which I don't agree with, but I'm not sure how true this is, as I didn't listen to his station. He was quite prominent in the Patriot movement and interviewed many of the Patriot conspiracy folks of that era, the late 1990s. He put the interviews on VHS tapes and sold them on his website. He said he sold at least 100,000. This is how the Kay Griggs interview came to be. He was so prominent in the conspiracy patriot community, in fact, that the Heaven's Gate cult chose to send him, of all people, 2 videotapes and a goodbye letter. He didn't realize the significance of the items until the cult members were found deceased a day later. That is fascinating. Pastor Rick released the items to one of the 2 networks. His radio program was the second most listened to station during drive time in Lenawee County, second to WJR, the powerhouse AM station out of Detroit. I found the following on the Anti-Pastor Rick website, written by an Adrian resident who was raised atheist, by the way. He prophesied, along with Alex Jones, that the government would execute a false flag attack to overshadow Oklahoma City, a terrorist bombing that would give them the excuse to suspend civil liberties and seize Radio-Free Lenawee's broadcast equipment. The feds shut down his radio station on September 12, 2001. Clearly, Pastor Rick was correct on that count. Otherwise, most of the website is disparaging towards Pastor Rick. Now, here is some synchronicity. Sometime after I moved to the Virginia mountains in 2008, I wanted to buy some body oils online. Amazon, as we know it today, was not in existence, and back then, you went to websites such as Vitacost to buy oils and supplements. And so while searching for a website that carried the oil that I wanted, I discovered one called The Secrets of Eden, and lo and behold, it was based in my old stomping ground, Adrian, Michigan. I looked around the website and I saw that it was run by Pastor Rick Strawcutter. I was like, wait, that name sounds familiar. And sure enough, I searched and saw that it was the man who interviewed Kay. So of course I had to buy the oils from him. His online store still exists to this day. More on that later. And I want you to tell you, I visited his store and I will be a customer because I really would like to get off of Amazon because they destroy my packages. As an aside, while living in Virginia, I worked for the board of directors at a resort, and we did have a lot of wealthy people from Richmond, Northern Virginia, and the coastal region that were resort members. And at that time, I hoped that I would never encounter any of those creeps that Kay knew. I may have, though, without knowing it. One of the directors was a retired admiral in the USN. He was extremely arrogant, and I got really bad vibes off of him. So let's go back to Kay Griggs. I saw on a Reddit post that she changed her name and moved overseas. Who knows if this is true? These folks on Reddit make shit up all the time. And then found a video from 2024 where she was being interviewed by a young American man, Quentin Heisler. Kay was 79 years old at the time of the interview. She was cut off screen, so you only heard her and didn't see her. It was definitely her voice. The camera focused on the young man who drank and ate peanuts while he interviewed her. They were sitting outside at a cafe, and in the background you could see the corner of the roof of a building. And that was it. Initially I thought that portion of the building looked like it could be in Europe. Then at one point the camera was adjusted and you could see more of the building. I decided that it looks more like it could be a building from the early 1900s in a large American city, but I could be wrong. Then you could hear the waitress's voice and her accent sounded American. However, some Europeans, like the Dutch, might speak English with a very little accent. Anyway, I could not determine the continent, so where she's living. Couldn't figure out where she's living. She's probably in hiding. If Kay changed her name, how did the young man find her? Maybe he knows someone that knows her that arranged it. I haven't done any research on him yet. I guess I'll do that next. The video discussion didn't cover what she's up to now. It was primarily about the bad guys back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. For instance, Rumsfeld, a really bad guy. Nixon, a not so bad guy, but he was set up. Eisenhower, he had a handler named Marshall. He wanted to leave Mamie for a woman that he was having an affair with, but Marshall said, no, you can't do that. It was hard to hear what was being said between the wind and the other noises in that video. And I'm just going to say for the record, I heard that she was approximately that age, that she changed her name because she remarried, and that she wasn't really talking about what she discovered with the diaries and stuff as much anymore. And she's probably off camera because she, probably doesn't want anybody to see her face now. Because when she did the other video, she was cute and sassy and whatever. We age and stuff. At 79, she doesn't look exactly the same. And she doesn't want anybody to know what she looks like now. So let's go on to Pastor Rick. He had a YouTube channel, Rick Strawcutter. It was at Pastor Straw. He discussed spiritual matters and some conspiracies, and he showcases his products. He has not posted for 1.5 years. He also hasn't posted for 1.5 years on his church's Facebook page, which is the Church on Bent Oak. This led me to believe that it was shut down. He used to let people set up booths for free at his church and sell their wares. He also used to provide free meals during the pandemic. There were some very strange comments under a couple of posts. One video in particular caught my attention. There was a live video from April 23, 2019 entitled, "Are People Spying on You? Weird Stuff is Happening." Strawcutter, April 23. He said people were pulling into his parking lot, sitting there, looking at him, and then driving off. I would say he's definitely targeted, especially in light of the content he discussed on his radio station back in the day, and then more recently on his YouTube channel. Then 2 years later, in 2021, he posted videos about converting his van into an off-grid camper. This is like a telltale sign that somebody's targeted because they need to be traveling around. He claimed it was for when SHTF hits the fan. My phrase, not his, LOL. But I could see him doing it to try to get away from the harassment. And many of these YouTube creators that are out there in van life and stuff, that's exactly why they're doing it. Many of which became divorced. They couldn't afford to live in an apartment. Apartments are very difficult. Sometimes apartments wouldn't accept their pets. They didn't want to give up their pets, so they decided, I'm going to ride around in a van. And plus they're targeted, and they do freelancing on the road. He mentioned that his social media is being shadow banned. Also, that a lot of people all of a sudden called up to be urgently removed from his email distribution list, which he thought was really strange. He wondered why they just didn't click on the unsubscribe link. That's what everybody else does, right? So why so urgent? It was almost like somebody got to those people and had them remove themselves by phoning rather than clicking. This way, Pastor Rick would know that something weird was up. You know how they like to let us know about their effed up actions. You know, sort of like Tyler Allen, the piece of crap landscaper. Yeah, him and his father and his worker digging up my property, vandalizing the underpinning, scalping the grass, no show, not giving me invoices. Yeah. A comment posted 9 months ago under his last video, which was uploaded a year and a half ago, was, "Thank you for your work, Pastor. Jesus still loves you. Keep the faith close. Keep faith close and hide for now. I see you have been chewed up. I still love you." There's almost like a sense of desperation in his later live videos, like, people aren't getting into my live streams anymore. They aren't calling in, and my life and business are falling apart. Just my sense. My heart broke for him. I looked for an obituary on him, but I couldn't find one. He's probably deep hiding, you know? This is horrible, what they do to people. The good old USA. Yeah. God bless America. Land that I love, stand beside me and guide me through the perps and the gang stalking fusion center operatives. The Secrets of Eden website. And my singing is really poor. I'm so sorry. They've destroyed my voice. Some of the oils that he sells are based off of what is in the Bible, frankincense and myrrh. He also sells other products like zeolite and nicotine patches. I get the impression that his business is now struggling, likely due to a combination of Amazon and interference from the perpetrators. It's hard for these small storefronts and online businesses to compete as it is. And then add in the harassment of the perps. Although it has been years since I ordered from him, I am thinking of doing it again. I really would like to wean myself off Amazon as much as possible and instead order directly from the companies, as inconvenient as that is. So what he's done is he has provided really good information here. What I'm going to do is, rather than cut and paste this in the body of my video, I will cut and paste this information in a post away from the video, because YouTube generally doesn't like, outside URLs and stuff. I can post his YouTube channel. You can go there. I've been to his YouTube channel. I've actually clicked on all of these links. They all work. And let me show you. Okay, let's see if there's anything else that I scroll down to. Oh, and his website's pretty nice. I like it. I like and then I get one last little email from the subscriber who says, "Well, I listened to Kay's 2024 interview a second time, and boy, did I miss a lot the first time. I listened to it. I was multitasking at the same time. She discusses how Madeline Albright and Susan Rice had handlers. She talked about, well, I don't like to talk about these people. You know, one of those former presidents who used to get some blowjobs, but said he wasn't having sex. You know, that one. And about plane crashes, Robert Mueller, Kathy O'Brien, Gerald Ford. The interview asked her about V2K. She also discusses AI, Norway and the Norwegian people, and schools. It's very interesting, Jefferson and more. Well, I'm going to say that I have never seen Kay's 2024 interview, and I don't see it linked here. No, I don't see it linked here. I'll have to search for it. But thank you for the heads up on that interview, and thank you so much for this information. So basically, this was Kay Griggs and Pastor Rick Strawcutter for targeted individuals. Obviously, Rick Strawcutter became targeted, severely targeted and harassed, and possibly Kay Griggs. I mean, even though from what I heard, she did remarry, and that's hence the name change. So anyway, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I'm going to sign off for now. Also, I posted on the community page on Saturday, 11 Central Time, for anybody that's interested in viewing Mikayla Rain's ceremony, celebration of life ceremony. It will be live streamed on Facebook and YouTube. Her mother paid for all of it, set it all up for her, and I still can't believe she's gone. It's just really, it's very sad for me. Anyway, you can go to her obituary on legacy.com and post something. I posted something on her behalf, photos of the fox on my property, and how she was helpful, because when the foxes were eating my chickens here, I was like very upset. I didn't know what to do. And after watching her videos and how she was able to tame these foxes, I figured, you know what? I'm going to make friends with my fox, and I'm just going to feed the fox. And it's been working out fine, because the fox has not eaten one guinea, not one chicken, and they could be side by side. They could be next to each other. The guineas could be cackling. The fox could be standing there. The fox just stands there dumbfounded, like, what do I do? Just please feed me an egg. And then I'll run out and give the fox some eggs, and has been leaving my chickens and guineas alone. So thank you, Mikayla. Rest in peace with your little fur babies up there. You know, hopefully there'll be a bunch of people taking care of the ones that were left behind here. And there's not one person on this planet that will convince me that you did this to yourself. And I hope sometime down the road that there is a full investigation on what happened, because your husband is not telling anybody how it happened. What's the cause of death? How did it happen? Poisoning, directed energy weapon to the heart, overdose of medication, negative side effects. What happens? Nobody knows. So since nobody knows, I'm not going to buy that she took her own life. I'm sorry. Besides the fact that that is a multi-million-dollar nonprofit. And who's to benefit when she's gone? I'm not going to say anything else. I usually get myself in damn trouble. But anyway, that would be 11 Central Time this Saturday the 12th, streaming on Facebook and YouTube. And I'm going to sign off for now.